That was a little bit of a tongue twister.
It got very difficult at the end. Welcome to Stargatesing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm your other host, Kathy.
And each week we review an episode of Stargate alternating between SG1 and Atlantis. Hello.
How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah.
Fantastic.
How's things? What's up?
Busy, work stuff. Always feeling like I'm behind this semester.
Yeah. Boo.
Yeah, that's my semester. How about you?
Okay. Work. Cat stuff. That's about it.
Fair.
Blue Steel got introduced to springs this week.
Ooh.
And they are his favorite thing.
Springs are pretty great.
Yeah.
Admiral Von Poof used to love springs.
It's very cute. And at least I can just throw those and then he goes nuts and doesn't force me to sit and play with him nonstop for like hours.
Coconut attempts to do that still, even at the ripe old age of 10. She always has a rope toy or something that she would like me to tug on for her or throw for her, and often it's first thing when I wake up in the morning, and I'm not ready for playtime yet.
Right?
Coconut is always ready for playtime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she is.
Never not play.
Blue Steel is currently pouncing on springs. I can see him from here. It's very
Excellent.
cute.
Springs are good times.
They really are.
Slinkies, those are fun springs.
That
kind of.
is true.
At least I thought they were when I was a kid.
I never had stairs, so we had one, but what was the point of it?
Fair. You can make it go back and forth, or like,
Yeah,
you know, the thing that's kind of almost like juggling, but actually nothing like juggling.
Yeah.
Anyone who's ever owned a Slinky knows exactly what I'm talking about. And people who have never owned a Slinky are probably like, what the fuck is she saying?
Do they still make Slinkies?
I have no idea. I would imagine so. I don't know if they're Slinky brand anymore. Last I knew, they were like made out of plastic and shitty. Oh. The good ones were the metal ones because it was that special noise.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything is dumb and made out of plastic these days and shittier than it used to be when we were kids. Back in our day.
Toys
were real toys.
That's right.
Like Slinkies.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no follow-up to that.
Nope. Me neither. Slinkies have nothing to do with this episode.
Ooh, there's a physical properties section of the Wikipedia on Slinky, and it has math formulas.
Ooh. That's exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, that's nothing related to what we're here for.
Math is important, though.
Yes, it is true.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of math that went into making that spaceship.
Surely so. And a lot of physics.
Yes.
There's some physics in Slinkies, because physics is really just applied math.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of got there, almost.
Yeah, sure.
What is this episode that we're talking about today that surely has something to do with physics somewhere, even if it's not real physics?
This is Stargate SG1, Season 10, Episode 10. Company of Thieves.
Indeed. Speaking of fun numbers, do you know what episode this is? I'm sure you can figure it out by reading the title of the recording.
250.
Yay!
Yay!
And there was much rejoicing.
That is a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes. I can't believe I've talked to you this much.
Right? Seriously.
It's wild.
I don't know why you keep coming back to talk to me. Every week, Kathy keeps coming back, and I'm like, wow, I'm surprised she's here and is not sick of me yet.
I have a student this semester that works for us that is one of those running monologue people. He just keeps talking.
Those people
with
are
no awareness of anyone else.
Yep. We have a couple educational assistants who are not students, but they're like actual people that basically run our labs for us that are like that. And they're very nice and they're great.
Yeah.
But when I'm like trying to get to class and they're just talking and talking. Yep, it's rough.
It's also a little draining as somebody who is not a big talker outside of this.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I agree. It takes a lot for me to try to pay attention to what somebody is saying, especially if I'm not actually getting the chance to contribute to the conversation.
Yes, there is little chance for engagement, and they don't seem actually interested in engaging you at all. They just need somebody to say words at.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of my students think that I'm like that when I'm teaching, but I do try to get them engaged. They just don't answer questions when I ask. It's always the same, like 3 or 4 that answer all of the questions, which is good. I am very grateful for those 3 or 4, but...
That sounds like most of my college classes.
And I was going to say, and I say this as a person who very often knew the answer, but would never, ever say the answer. So I really can't be too judgmental.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that was me in high school. In college, in the history classes, if I didn't answer questions, nobody answered questions. So I just kept being like, I guess I'll answer this question.
Yeah, I would pretty much only answer questions if I really wanted us to move on to the next topic and no one else was saying anything. I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to talk in front of people and I don't want to, but we're going to be here all day otherwise.
It's embarrassing when the teacher is like, oh, clearly you're the only person who's done the reading.
I am not that much of an asshole about it. I'll just be like, thanks, student whose name I'm not going to say on the podcast. You're really on top of things today. Great.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Good job. I do not like to denigrate all of the other students that don't know the answer or just are not willing to say it.
Yeah,
That's just shitty. And I'm also not willing to just call on people.
Fair.
Because I always hated that when I was a student.
I appreciate that. I did hate that as well.
Yeah. I would often know the answer still, but, sometimes I wouldn't be paying attention because of the whole ADHD thing, and I hated being called on. If I wasn't paying attention, I would feel stupid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's just shitty. I don't want to make any students feel that way, so I won't do that.
That's good of you.
Thank you. Anyway, that was a tangent. What is this episode that we are talking about today that has a little to do with physics and nothing really to do with teaching?
But a lot to do with assholes.
So. Oh, yes, this is true.
So if you have a jerk teacher...
Yeah.
They might fit right in this company of thieves.
Yes.
Season 10, episode 10, Stargate, SG1.
Woo.
250 for us.
Indeed. Fun numbers all around. And the episode starts with a recap, and it is a deep cut to Daniel posing as Yu's first prime all the way back when Jacob was still alive, using that special ring thingy and that chemical of magic.
Oh, right.
And then way later, there was the episode where Mitchell did a shady job of posing as a bounty hunter. I think Daniel did a little bit of a better job as posing as First Prime, but mostly because he had that magical help.
Yeah.
While Mitchell is a bounty hunter, we also meet Tanat and Jupe, who are very much not human aliens. And then we also meet Natan, who thinks that SG1 and Earth are of little consequence.
Ho-ho.
End recap.
Oh, Natan. You'll learn. We start on the Odyssey. They've arrived somewhere, so they're going to drop out of hyperspace with maximum shields. But it seems like there's nothing there, and it turns out what they're looking for is a second supergate, so more Ori fun at some point. But not today, because there's no supergate.
Nope. No Ori either.
They're at a neutron star looking for the supergate, which is important because Sam tells us it's going to weaken their shields and cause something, but we don't get hear what because they're being fired upon all of a sudden.
Didn't neutron stars have to help power up supergates or something, or am I making that up altogether?
I don't know. Emerson says black holes, but maybe it's both? One or both?
Maybe.
I'm trying to... What did they...
Yeah, he did say supergates use black holes for power, but I think that... I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering. It's all fake physics anyway, so it doesn't matter.
This new learning amazes me, Sir Bedivere.
Moving on. They're being fired on.
Yes.
Things are not looking good already. They can't get their hyperdrive online. Their hull integrity has been compromised because of the shield weakening. So Emerson's like, who's shooting at us? Marks finds that it is 3 ships and probably gold motherships, he says, based on their size. Good news, Sam says, their shields could be weakened too. However, that doesn't really help them.
It sure doesn't.
They try to veer off, so I guess to just not go right at them, and find themselves in a giant minefield. Not
That's
great.
Inconvenient.
It is very inconvenient. Who put those there?
Yeah. Yes, I was glad I'm not the only one that was wondering that.
Like, was it the people we find out later are behind this, or were they taking advantage of a random minefield near a neutron star that just happened to be there?
Yeah, I didn't really get the impression that it was those people that we're not mentioning just yet, because I don't know that they have that level of resources, but maybe I'm wrong.
Who knows? We'll never know.
Nope, we sure won't.
The minefield makes things way worse for the Odyssey.
As minefields do.
Yes. Emerson's shouting around for damage report, but there's no one conscious to help him.
Yep.
So he calls Stargate Command. Then we switch to the perspective of Emerson on screen while Walter and Landry watch. While Emerson, reports that things are going bad. They're under attack. They've been extremely damaged. Our intel was wrong. There is no second supergate, and we've been ambushed. No hyperdrive, no shields. Doing bad on life support, too, and they're being boarded. It's all bad. And that's credits.
That's credits.
Yep.
Probably worth mentioning, too, that the video cuts out at that point. And that
yes.
Is it. Yeah.
He doesn't just it was like, peace out, guys. We'll talk to you later. Yeah.
Yeah, exciting start.
Yeah.
And then we get credits, as Kathy said. And then after credits, Vala, Daniel, Mitchell, and Landry are all in the briefing room talking about what happened. Landry says they got telemetry from the emergency transponder from the Odyssey about 30 minutes after Emerson's distress call, but that only really helps them to know where the ship is, but it doesn't tell them anything about what the ship's condition is or what's going on with the crew. It's just kind of an automated thing that the ship sends out, so that's not that helpful. They're assuming that it was pretty badly damaged, given Emerson's report. I think that is a fair assumption, also given what we've seen. Daniel wants to know who might be behind this, and they think that it could be the Jaffa, maybe some Revel Jaffa factions. Apparently, Braytak says that a lot of the Jaffa Nation is in such disarray at this point because of all of the various governing issues that they've had, that a lot of them went to their old warring factions, and they are no longer really united as one nation anymore, sadly.
RSVP Dakara.
Yeah, that is sad.
Yeah.
So he's not sure that they would ever really be able to track down which Jaffa were responsible for this if it does turn out that is correct. And it is very possible that the Jaffa are blaming Earth for the destruction of Dakara, so any of a number of Jaffa factions could have wanted revenge for that. So Vala thinks that they should go check it out, except that they do not actually have any way of getting there because the Daedalus is still out in the Pegasus galaxy, and of course the Odyssey is the ship that is currently missing. But of course Vala's got some ideas, she's got some connections, and she could get them absolutely anything. Don't you know that by now? I can get you whatever you want, but of course I will waive my fee just this one time, which Daniel looks incensed to that declaration. But she does need some money up front so that she can presumably grease a few palms. So Landry's going to make that happen, and he tells her to be careful since they really don't know who exactly is behind this.
Then we're back in the Odyssey, where the whole crew has been gathered in the cargo bay. Sam is sitting against a wall or something, unconscious, when the scene begins. But she wakes up. Emerson greets her. She asks what their status is, and he says they've been towed out of the minefield. They've accounted for most of the crew, but they are missing 3 people.
That's not too bad, given
That's true.
everything.
Yes.
I would have thought that way more people were dead, so that's good.
Yeah, right? A guy comes in, a guy they don't know, presumably one of the boarders. He's looking for Colonel Samantha Carter. Emerson steps forward and is like, I'm the commander, so talk to me. And this guy is like, fuck no, I don't want to talk to you. I only want Samantha Carter. And I'm going to kill y'all if you don't tell me. So Sam's like, I'm Sam. They take Sam away, and as kind of an afterthought, they take Emerson with them too.
Yep. And they head to the bridge. And there's yet another guy there. He's just kind of lounging. He's in the commander's chair, so it's a safe bet that he's the guy that is now in charge and is the one that asked for Sam. When she comes in, he tells her that he heard she was quite attractive because he's an asshole.
Yes, he is.
Emerson introduces himself and asks what this guy wants. But he says that there's nothing that Emerson can do for him. Carter, on the other hand, can I call you Samantha? She says no. We find out that this guy's name is Anateo. He is not part of the Lucian Alliance, as Sam is assuming that he is. He's not part of any alliance, he specifies. He has, though, discovered the subspace beacon that is giving away their position, and Sam had better turn it off. Of course, Sam is going to refuse to do that, and she's not going to help in any way that they want. Emerson also reiterates that she can't do it, as Anateo keeps trying to convince her that she's going to do whatever they want her to. Anateo again urges Sam to go ahead and shut it off, and when Emerson makes it an order, he's killed. So that was a very sad and sudden end to Emerson that I was definitely not expecting.
Me either.
And at first, he's shot in the chest, and it looks real bad, but I was like, maybe he'll survive. But then he collapses to the ground, and they shoot him like 5 more times, and I was like, oh no, I don't think he's gonna walk that off.
No.
Yeah, I was sad.
Definitely overkill.
Yeah, literally overkill.
Monster kill.
Obviously, Sam is also sad, probably even more sad than I am for this fictional character. She looks horrified. And Anateo tells her that now she's the ranking officer on the ship, so she doesn't have to take orders from anybody.
He's out of line, but he's right.
And maybe get working on that beacon, or else I'm just gonna basically kill everybody, is the implication.
Yeah. These are some nice people they've found out here in space.
Yeah. I really liked Emerson.
I know, me too.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Yeah. So Anateo, I recognized the actor.
He looked vaguely familiar.
I don't know, you probably don't recognize him from this, but I mostly know him from the mid-90s. He was on All My Children.
I'd never watched that one.
He played the love interest of Kendall Hart, who was played by, at the time, like a 15-year-old Sarah Michelle Gellar, who would then go on to become a vampire slayer.
Of course.
And then, fun story, in Buffy, in the 5th season, they do an episode where Dracula comes, and then he plays Dracula, like, opposite Buffy, so.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's where I know him from. I really don't know him from anywhere else.
Yeah, I never watched that one, but all of those soap operas share people, so I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe he was on General Hospital at some point when I was still watching it many years ago.
Right? Could be anywhere.
Could be.
Then we are on another ship. A ship full of SG1. Well, SG 80%. 4/5.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are wearing disguises. Not like masks or anything, but they're dressed in like
Leather.
civilian-y leather clothes.
Chaps.
Like, yeah, like one of the
They're
other
not really
times.
chaps. They're leather pants and dusters.
Yeah. Mitchell is not impressed with this ship that Vala's gotten him because it is loud and whiny and clearly not in great shape. Vala says, don't worry, it's perfectly safe even though it's a bit wonky and it will be a bumpy ride. Not exactly, though. She's just kidding. So they had, apparently, their form of cash for Vala was Naquita. And Daniel is not impressed either. He's like, this is all you got for all that Naquita? And Vala's like, I did not pocket the difference. If that's what you're thinking. Obviously. An alarm starts going off. Vala says life support seems to be failing, so she hops up to fix that. But she doesn't fix it. They find out she's just turned the alarm off because it's annoying. So, great ship. They've been able, though, to pick up the Odyssey's transponder signal and are following that. They arrive, and they're able to cloak eventually after Vala whacks the ship a little bit. Teal'c pinpoints the signal to a planet with numerous life signs. Daniel thinks, oh, maybe they landed for repairs. But no one's responding to hails. Vala says she recognizes the planet. It used to be a shipbuilding facility for the Goa'uld, and now it belongs to the Lucian Alliance, or has ties to it anyway. Vala says she's got a friend there, a contact, and maybe if I go talk to him, not all of us, because he's skittish, but, you know, if I go alone, maybe I'll get something. Mitchell's like, it might be a trap. And she says, yes, that is why we should not all go. Then we will not all be captured.
It's a trap! Your tongues can't repel flavor of that magnitude.
It's a fair point.
Yeah. And she offers to take Daniel if that will make Mitchell feel better.
Back in the cargo bay, Sam returns and Mark's asked what happened to Colonel Emerson. And she just very sadly shakes her head no as she's crying. So I think it's fairly obvious to Marks and anyone else paying attention what has happened.
Yeah.
And then we're back with Vala and Daniel. They are in a hangar on the planet, and they have met up with somebody that Vala knows named Borzin. He's surprised that she would ever show her face in these parts again. They have a little friendly banter and insults and hugs and arm punches. So I don't think we've met him before, but she clearly knows him very well.
Yeah.
She introduces Daniel as her apprentice, Seamus, but then quietly tells Borzin that he's actually not her apprentice, but a mark, and she only took him on as part of a bet. So she kind of changes her story as to what Daniel is doing there several times in this conversation, which makes me think that Vala is not as good at various sneaky things as she claims to be or thinks she is. It's really just a short scene of the two of them going back and forth talking about who Daniel is. Then we're back in the cargo ship with Mitchell and Teal'c, who are listening in on the conversation. Back down in the hangar, Borzin tells Daniel not to trust Vala, but obviously Vala's already shown that her trust it's questionable whether or not she can be trusted. And it depends on the circumstances, really. Finally, they get to the point that they're looking for some information about a Towery ship that was attacked not all that far from here. And has Borzin heard anything about it? Borzin isn't really too forthcoming with information, so Vala tries to convince him even more that Daniel's rich and just give us something and he'll give us some money for it. Just give us anything. We'll make it worth your while. Borzin really doesn't believe any of this because, again, Vala's story of who Daniel is has changed like 5 times at this point. So Vala says that they traced the emergency signal from the ship to right about here, this shop that Borzin is running. So there's clearly no ship in here, so what the hell's going on? And it turns out that Borzin has some kind of technology that's basically just relaying the transponder signal. And he actually plays some of what is being broadcast through it, and we basically hear what happened with Sam and Emerson right up to the point of the gun firing. And, of course, they don't get to find out who exactly it was that was shot, so Daniel and Vala are both quite disturbed by what they just heard. And if they want any more than what he's given them so far, then he's going to need to see some Naquita. Daniel tells Borzin that the transponder itself, or the relay thing that is sending out the transponder signal, is pretty useless to him unless Daniel knows who gave it to Borzin. And then he points at a person.
Person?
A person. A person with a Zat gun that is standing nearby and aiming it at them.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Probably worth mentioning.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
In the cargo ship, Mitchell and Teal'c were continuing to listen to this, and then they hear Zat blasts. And that's it. Oh no.
Yep.
So they head home. Next, we're in this SGC conference room.
Yep. That's it. End of
Listening.
episode.
Yeah.
SG1's all gone.
Yeah.
Except for Mitchell and Teal'c.
Yeah. So now it's SG1, 2 parts, 1 whole. All right. Yeah. Mitchell and Teal'c
Yes.
going on adventures.
I'd watch that show.
Yeah. They're playing the recording of what happened to Landry. Mitchell lets him know they thought it could be an ambush. Landry's like, were they after you specifically? And Teal'c says, well, they knew we were following the transponder. And maybe they were trying to stop us from trying to find the Odyssey. Mitchell says, I think they just don't like us. Either way, that was the only option they had to try to find information. At least they know by the recording that perhaps the Odyssey is not destroyed, but is in the hands, he says, of the Lucian Alliance. And Borzin has disappeared, in addition to Daniel and Vala, and nobody else knows anything. Landry tells Teal'c to spread the word amongst the Jaffa that he wants to talk to the leader of the Lucian Alliance. He's mad.
He is.
He never does do that, though. It doesn't come up.
No, it does not.
No.
Landry does not talk to the Lucian Alliance as far as we see anytime in this episode anyway.
Indeed.
But we're back on the Odyssey next. Sam is doing some Sam work with crystals. Anateo's watching her, eating a snack. He says that civilizations should be judged by 2 things, the food and the women, and Apparently, the Earth civilization is only halfway there, he says. Sam is not amused by this conversation, of course. Anateo tries to get her to eat something so that she can keep her strength up and keep doing all of the work for him that he wants her to do. Apparently, this transponder thing is really difficult to turn off, and Sam is, I would say, probably trying to buy time here by pretending that it's even more difficult than it actually is to turn off. But she basically says that it could take the rest of her life to turn it off. And Anateo says, well, that could be really long or painfully short, depending on what you do next. And then Daniel and Vala are there, as is Borzen and a bunch of Lucian Alliance people. So everybody's back together again, almost, except for Mitchell and Teal'c. So, woo, reunited.
Yay.
Yeah. Daniel and Vala have their hands tied, probably worth mentioning. So they're not exactly here under the best circumstances. They have a very brief chat where Vala says, Sam, we thought you'd miss us, so here we are. Anateo wants to know where the others are. Why aren't Mitchell and Teal'c here? But they didn't come down to the planet, so what the hell was Borzen supposed to do? But how about money, please? Anateo says he should only get half of the payment for half of SG1. Vala corrects him to 2/5, since Borzen brought in 2 of them, and there are now 5 members of the team. I don't know that we ever find out whether or not Borzen gets all his money, but it doesn't really matter either. So Daniel and Vala are going to go get taken to the hold.
It seemed to me that they were going to go kill Borzen instead of giving him money.
Oh, I totally missed that. Okay.
Just the way Anateo, told them to take care of him.
Oh, that's right. He did say take care of him.
And then there was dramatic music at that moment. And I'm like, oh,
that's right.
Sorry, Borzen.
Take him away!
Yeah, I actually completely forgot about that. So, yeah. Borzen looks completely clueless, though, from what I recall, which is why I forgot about it.
He really did.
Yep.
It'll be a surprise for him.
Yep, it sure will.
Hope he likes surprises. Oh. Then we're back in the SGC, where there's some guy giving an overview of the Lucian Alliance and its structure.
Let me explain again. Phil has recruited me and another guy. Now we are getting 3 people each. The more people that get involved, the more people who are investing, the more money we're all going to make. It's not a pyramid scheme.
He explains that the Lucian Alliance is divided into territories. They're controlled by different lieutenants of Netan, or Netan. I never remember. Netan, Netan, Netan.
Netan, I think.
Okay. I watch it. I think I remember it. And then as soon as I stop hearing it, I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, there are 20 of these lieutenants doing all sorts of... Are they really criminal things if they're the ones running things?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, criminal according to whose laws. I guess all of the planets that they're doing these things on.
Criminal or not, it's not great stuff. Smuggling,
True.
extortion, trafficking,
Yeah.
the drug corn.
It is all... Yes, drug corn. Yes, they do mention the casa.
Landry's like, I've heard this all before. Bored now. And this guy's like, well, we've heard that there might be some unrest among these lieutenants. Maybe a mutiny might happen. Dissent over Netan's leadership is growing. Landry's like, great, but what does that do for us? This guy says there's a guy named Keflin, one of Netan's most loyal seconds, oversees a large casa production operation. Landry's like, yeah, so? He's having a hard time getting this guy get to a point.
He really is.
Yeah. So Mitchell jumps in. And he's like, this guy is very reclusive and rarely leaves his territory. Most people haven't even seen him. So Landry's like, so this guy, you think he's behind the Odyssey? And Mitchell says, nope, I am going to impersonate him instead. Which is a surprise to Landry. Mitchell busts out that ring and potion, I'll call it?
Yeah.
That Daniel had used to pretend he was Lord Yu's Lotar.
Yeah.
So he's going to go undercover. Try to find the Odyssey that way. Landry's like, you don't even know what this guy looks like. And Mitchell's like, yeah. And no one else does either. So no one will know it's me. And I'll just use my magical potion to make everyone who did know him think I'm him. Yeah.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Nothing's going to go wrong.
Nope.
Never goes wrong.
Indeed not. In the cargo bay, some guards shove Sam back into the room so she gets the chance to catch up with Vala and Daniel. She says she's working as slowly as she can, but she can't keep it up forever.
That's it. That's what she said.
Daniel asks if she has any idea of what these Alliance people are going to be doing with the ship, but she does not. She just knows that without that transponder, Stargate Command is not going to have any hope of finding them, and so it's going to just be bad for the ship and everyone on it if she disconnects that before SGC can send anybody out here to get them. Vala suggests maybe trying to take the ship back. Sam has thought of that, but thinks it would be pretty risky. Might be their only plan. Vala says that it would be better than their plan, meaning her and Daniel. So Sam asks, what is your plan? They do not have one. Daniel clarifies. So, yeah, it's basically continue to bide their time or Sam figure out a way to take over the ship.
Yeah. Then we're back with Teal'c and Mitchell in their creaky cargo ship. They've arrived at another ship. They've been spotted, Teal'c reports, and asks if Mitchell is prepared. Mitchell's ready. He's got his Pokey ring on. He's dressed like he's Lucian Alliance. So he's like, sure. A guy from the other ship gets on the horn. I love saying that. I don't know why. The other ship contacts him, asking for their business, and Mitchell identifies himself as Keflin, who is here to see Natan. This guy is like, we weren't expecting you. What do you want? And Mitchell's like, fuck off. Send me over. That's it. That's what's happening. And this guy's like, A-okay.
What could possibly go wrong with that part either?
Yeah, well, he's a big fat liar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he does not. He does not tell Natan. At least not yet.
Nope.
First, he beats the shit out of Mitchell, but Mitchell fights back. It's a big fist fight.
It is.
Yeah. Natan is hanging out in his special quarters.
Knock on my door! Knock next time! Yes, sir!
And finally, this guy that was gatekeeping goes in to let him know that there's someone here and there's been an incident. Natan looks up and sees that there are some guards dragging a guy into the room. It is Mitchell. He's holding his hand over his face. He's got a towel like he's dabbing at his wounds, trying to hide from Natan. Natan gets close enough to Mitchell that Mitchell then falls toward him and stabs him in the arm with the pricky ring. And he's like, already in character. I tried to tell them, but the name Keflin doesn't mean much around here. And Natan sees Keflin. He doesn't see Mitchell. He apologizes for stabbing Natan with his ring. It was from his latest conquest. And Natan is overjoyed to see Keflin Mitchell.
He is.
Klitchell? Meflin? I don't know. I'll just call him Keflin. He's mad at...
Yeah.
Natan is mad at his underling for not telling him Keflin is there. And the guy's like, sorry, you said you didn't want to be disturbed. And Natan's like, so you beat him instead? Which, fair point. There are options between do not disturb and beat the shit out of somebody trying to visit.
There are.
But Keflin Mitchell jumps in and says, well, you know, the beating wasn't entirely one way. So Natan is just so happy. Happy as a clam to see his friend. Never knowing he's been deceived.
He sure is very happy to see this guy. We see a view, supposedly, of the person that Natan is supposedly seeing, and Cameron does actually kind of look like what the other guy looks like, I thought.
Interesting. I'm trying to picture him now. We didn't see a lot of him.
No, we only saw a few scenes where they show a close-up of Natan and then show him talking to Keflin, and it is a different actor, but yeah, it's only a couple quick scenes, but I thought they looked a little similar.
All right.
Anyway, back on the Odyssey, Anateo is there, and he is talking to Solek. Solek thinks that they should turn this ship over to Natan, because that was what they were supposed to be doing anyway, and Solek says that Anateo would be a hero, but Anateo does not care about that at all, because Natan sucks, basically, is what Anateo thinks. He thinks Natan has failed the Alliance, and that everything is going to hell with him in charge. So he thinks that Natan also sent them on a fool's quest here, and that it would be dumb for them to turn the ship over to Natan, and so he wants to keep it. That is his plan. Solik wants to know why they bothered to set a trap to catch SG1 then, and it's because they have caused more grief than anybody else for the Ori, so maybe ingratiating themselves to the Ori could be kind of helpful. And he is not like Natan, who is a coward and has been running away. He is going to face them and also face the Tauri.
This guy's dumb.
Yeah.
Doesn't he know the more SG1 you have together, the more likely your plans are going to go awry?
Right? Yeah, seriously. Solik asks, are we not going to face the wrath of the Tauri? Are we not going to run away instead of trying to fight them specifically? But no. Anateo says that they've brought their battleship to its knees. So as far as he's concerned, with the Odyssey here and SG1, most of SG1 anyway, they have the upper hand. And Natan's stuffed corpse will be a trophy on his wall. That is gross. Why would you want that?
That's pretty gross, yeah.
Yeah. And he thinks that he'll be able to then take over the entire Lucian Alliance and make a much more credible threat to Earth, essentially, after all that. Once he's taken over. Exactly how he's planning on getting from leadership of the Odyssey to killing Natan and taking over the entire Lucian Alliance was not clear. He kind of left that part out.
But you yada over the best part.
But that is his plan.
Yeah, it's a dumb plan.
Yeah. Step 1, take over the Odyssey. Step 2, profit or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. With literally nothing in the middle.
Yeah. Then we're back on Natan's ship. Natan and Kef Mitchell are walking. I'm going to stop combining their names. Natan and Keflin are walking along, catching up. Keflin tells Natan that committing their ships in the fight against the Ori was a big mistake. And Natan stops for a moment, like, what the fuck? Who's this guy judging me? But Keflin reminds him, you appreciated my honesty in the past, so Natan gets over it.
He doesn't know that for sure, though. What if this guy really likes being lied to and just ass-kissed, basically?
That's true. That was kind of a...
like a certain other leader.
Yes.
Who would rather have a bunch of sycophants around himself.
Yep. We switch perspectives to Teal'c, who is nearby on the cargo ship, cloaked, listening. Natan is asking why Keflin is there. Keflin would never make such a trip without reason. And Keflin tells him it's about the Odyssey. And then we flip back to inside the ship, and he continues to talk. He said, I heard you captured it, and I want to know what you're going to do with it, because they got a lot of cool tech on that, and I would really help me with transporting my crops. Think bigger, like your friend Anateo. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Anateo is an idiot. You're right. Just transport your crops. Natan wants to know where he's heard these rumors, because Natan ain't heard anything. He says the usual channels, so again, sidestepping any actual need for knowledge.
Yep.
Natan said he heard that the Odyssey was destroyed in a battle with the Ori, but nothing's been confirmed, and I surely had nothing to do with it. Then one of his underlings comes up and tells him there's a ship nearby. They're moving to intercept.
Yeah, I don't remember ever hearing about him before, so I don't think it's necessarily worth mentioning his name. Yeah.
And what they've intercepted is Teal'c. And the next thing we see is Teal'c is Natan's prisoner.
Yeah.
Oh, Teal'c.
Yep. They found the shitty-ass Hatak that was out there. Back on the Odyssey, now Sam is basically just playing dumb and says that she accidentally overloaded a power coupling when there is somebody coming over to take a look at what she's doing, and we see a little power surge. That is a brief scene before we then go to the cargo bay. Vala and Marks and Daniel are all there, and they're kind of creeping towards the door. The door's just opened a little bit.
Somehow.
So, yeah. Can't imagine how. Couldn't have had anything to do with that overloaded power coupling that Sam was just playing around with.
I'm sure it was something totally unrelated.
Yep. Yeah, so they sneak out of there. Sam, in the bridge, continues to try to pretend that she's doing some work while the guards are just, I don't know, messing around, hanging out, not actually really doing anything. And so she seems pretty relieved that they don't seem to have noticed what she just did. Back on Natan's Hatak, we're in the brig with Teal'c and a guard named Vashin who wants to know where the rest of Teal'c's team is. He's got a pain stick there, so that's fun. Mitchell, though, comes along and grabs the pain stick from Vashin.
But this is used to slice atoms! Yeah, just stab me with that thing!
And beats him with it. Natan was actually there watching this entire thing. And instead of getting upset, just laughs because he figured it was only a matter of time before Mitchell, as Keflin, was going to not be able to resist the chance to beat somebody for questions and torture them. So they're going to leave him to it. Mitchell, as Keflin, is going to stay here and torture Teal'c for some answers. Of course, once everybody has left the room, Mitchell puts the pain stick down and tries to figure out how they're going to get Teal'c out of here. Teal'c asks if they've figured out where the Odyssey is yet, but no, of course they haven't, and Natan doesn't seem to either. So, for now, Teal'c says they're going to have to maintain this ruse until they get more information. Mitchell doesn't really like that idea because he doesn't want to put Teal'c at risk for that, but Teal'c says there's a lot of other people that are even at more risk than he is, so they're going to have to make it work. So Mitchell reluctantly picks the pain stick back up and it hits it against the wall and tells Teal'c to remember that he's supposed to be an expert torturer. So Teal'c goes along and starts screaming. And just outside, we see a couple of Lucian Alliance people looking pretty satisfied about what's happening inside, even though they can't see it, they can for sure hear.
On the Odyssey, one of Anateo's guys, who's observing the cargo bay, notices people acting kind of weird and clumping together near a door. So he's like, something's going on. He tells another guy to go do a head count. But before he can go anywhere, there's Zadid, and Daniel and Vala are there. Back on Natan's ship.
It's dinner time.
It's dinner time, exactly. It's a feast.
The feast of 1,000 beasts is begun!
Yum.
Natan brings Keflin in. There are a bunch of other dudes there eating. Natan tells Vashin to make room, and Vashin is all grumpy about it. He does not like Keflin. He introduces everybody to Keflin. Did you recognize the guy Gavos?
I sure did. He was the driver from Speed.
Yay! Yeah.
I love Speed.
Me too. Gavos from Speed asks what Keflin learned from Teal'c. And Mitchell tells him the rumors are true. The Odyssey has been captured by Anateo. And the Tauri are in possession of an audio recording indicating he's in control of it. Suddenly, Natan's all about taking credit for the Odyssey now that he knows it exists and that it's been captured by seemingly one of his guys. He's like, yeah, I ordered that attack. Time to send the Tauri a message. However, he does immediately admit that Anateo has betrayed them and he doesn't know where the ship is. Gavo says you could not have expected Anateo to survive an attack on the Tauri vessel, right? And Natan's like, yeah, I gave him a strategy that made his odds better. And he says that Anateo came to him because his planets are being overrun by the Ori, and he says that Anateo suggested killing one of these other lieutenants so he could have his planets. So he's endearing Anateo to everyone.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's true or not, but Mitchell says that not only does he have the Odyssey, he's baiting a trap for SG1, which then someone's like, he's lost his mind and the Tauri will declare all-out war. Gavos tells Natan he should have consulted. At that point, Natan pulls out his gun and just shoots Gavos, which the only two things I've ever seen this actor in. He gets shot.
Yep. Yes, he does.
Oh, yeah. Natan's like, I don't consult with anyone. Anyone else want to ask questions, challenge me? And they're like, nope, we're good. He says Anateo is going to pay, and the Tauri and we were already at war, and I will not cower in fear. Send all available ships. We're going for the Odyssey.
Woo!
Woo! I guess that signals the end of dinner because everyone gets up and leaves.
Which is a real shame because it's going to be delicious.
He tells Keflin Mitchell to stay behind. And Natan wants to know if Keflin should have embarrassed him like that. Mitchell says that there were whispers about your strength, and now those whispers will stop, right? Right? Good plan. And also, by the way, Keflin I would like Gavos' territory. Natan tells him 20%. So everything's okay. They're still cool.
They are. Yep. Natan just really loves Keflin, even when Keflin is actually Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the bridge of the Odyssey, Vala and Daniel are there. Vala's kind of futzing around with stuff, I'm guessing, to try to repair some of the many things that were broken before. Like, I don't think they have shields or hyperdrive or anything, so I think she's trying to work on some of that. But apparently these systems are all new, so even though she managed to steal the Prometheus all by herself, the Odyssey is a little bit harder to take over the controls of and repair, I guess. Daniel tries to press her to hurry up, but they don't have a lot of time. And as Sam had mentioned, there were a bunch of things that were damaged. So that's what they're actually trying to do, is take over the ship's controls from here. But because of all the damage, Vala's got to try to repair some of that stuff first. They're trying to get the beaming technology working as well, because she says something about even with locators, beaming people from one ship to another is risky, and they could be materialized between decks. So we don't exactly get the entire view of what they're going to be trying, but it sounds like Vala's trying to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
To make things happen and fix stuff. Anateo over the radio says that the guard, who is unconscious or maybe dead on the floor nearby, has missed his check-in, so report back. Daniel and Vala both look at each other with a little bit of panic. In the Odyssey's cargo hold, Solik is there, and he comes up to Marks, asks where Dr. Jackson and Vala are, but of course Marks isn't going to say anything, so he's still hanging out there trying to distract from the fact that I guess it was only Daniel and Vala left. I had initially thought that more of them had left, not necessarily everybody, but
I had an issue. I mean, the show is SG1, so I get it. They need to go. They're the main characters. But, like, all of these other people work on this ship. Wouldn't one of them be a better candidate to go do stuff?
Especially Marks.
I know.
Who, like, was essentially, like, the Walter of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Or is, I guess. Marks is fine. He didn't die in this one.
No.
Yeah. But
Weird.
yeah, no, he's still there. And of course, refuses to answer any of Solik's questions about where Daniel and Vala are. So Solik radios to Anateo that they have a problem.
Anateo goes to see Sam in whatever room she's Samming in. He uses the intercom to call to Daniel and Vala, who hear him on their end. He tells them their duplicity has forfeited Colonel Carter's life, and if you don't surrender immediately, I'm going to kill the rest of the crew.
He likes killing people.
He does love killing people. He stares at Sam and holds the gun in her face. And then Vala and Daniel are talking. Vala says she can't be sure, and Daniel tells her to do it anyway. Back with Sam and Anateo, she says no one else is going to be able to fix this ship except for the entire other crew who probably knows how.
Right?
But Anateo's like, obviously you've been stalling and you're not really going to fix it, so I'll do it myself. But before he kills her, he's beamed out of there. To Sam's great relief.
Yep.
It turns out that Vala did that. Daniel asked where Sam is because he thought she was going to beam Sam. And Vala said, well, I couldn't be sure where people would land, so I beamed out the only other life side in the room. Daniel asks where he is. And then they look out the window and they see Anateo out in space firing his weapon at the ship.
Yep. I'm not sure how well that would work in space, but I don't really know, because who knows what kind of weapon this is exactly.
Yeah. So he's dead. No longer a threat.
Nope.
And I guess that was the plan, or at least part of the plan.
I don't know that it was. Yeah, I think they just wanted to beam Sam out away from him. Was my impression to where they are here, but yeah.
But, well,
change in plans worked out pretty well for them.
Yay.
Yeah. Then they're in the auxiliary control room. There's a bunch of people now because with Anateo out of the picture, they're able to, I guess, free everybody. I don't know what happened to the rest of the guards.
How many people did they use to take over this ship? And where did they all go?
Yeah, I don't know, because Marks is there and a bunch of other people that had been down in the brig are there. So I guess we're just not going to worry about any other Aleutian Alliance people
Maybe
that
Vala
were
beamed them all into
on the
space.
ship. Maybe. Yeah, who knows? Daniel does say all of his men have been accounted for. They rounded up 14 men in total. They might be beamed into space, but who knows? They actually do specifically say they don't know where Solik ended up when they beamed him somewhere. So they have been looking for him because Solik is actually the only one that's unaccounted for. It sounds like Vala was trying to beam him from one place to another, and then he just kind of disappeared, so they're going to just assume he's not around anymore. Vala asks if he checked the sewage reservoir, and apparently Daniel did, but he says there was no life signs in there, and ew. But still, things are looking bad because they don't have any shields, they don't have any weapons, they've got no way to communicate, and they have no hyperdrive. So, as Daniel says, they are sitting ducks.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
Natan goes to see Keflin, who is back torturing Teal'c. He wants to know what's up, and Mitchell's like, interrogating the prisoner further. What did you learn? Natan asks, and Mitchell says, not much. And Natan's like, cool, well, I guess it's time to kill him then. We'll do it together. That'll be fun.
Yay!
Team building, bonding. Yeah. We've learned all he can. We have no choice, and we need to send a message to the Tauri. So what better way than killing Teal'c? Mitchell tries to stall. He's like, I was just beginning to enjoy my torture time. But Natan says, sorry, we gotta move on. Fun's over. However, Teal'c is saved in the nick of time by other news. Vashin comes in to report they found the Odyssey. Teal'c reprieve. For the moment.
Indeed. In the ring room, Natan, Mitchell, and Vashin are in there, and Tanat is in there. He's one of the alien guys from before that we have not seen in a while. He's just been ringed in. Mitchell is not too thrilled to see him because Tanat might recognize him from when he was pretending to be a bounty hunter before, as we talked about way back at the beginning with the recap. So when Natan tries to introduce Mitchell as Keflin to Tanat, Mitchell just faces away and just kind of waves back at him over his shoulder. Not at all suspicious.
No.
Yeah. Tanat has heard a great deal about Keflin, and he's delighted to meet him. Natan wants to know what Tanat... Their names are so similar.
I know.
It's just confusing. Natan wants to know what Tanat has learned, and maybe he won't kill Tanat. Why would Tanat have come here? I guess maybe he was captured? I don't know. But he says that he'll spare Tanat's life if he gives him some good information. Tanat pretends that Natan is joking, I guess. So I don't really think Natan was joking about that one. Anyway, Tanat says that the Odyssey was never destroyed, and Anateo decided to keep it for himself. So I guess this confirms that for Natan, what Mitchell had already said after his conversation with Teal'c. It turns out that the Odyssey right now is about a half-day's journey or less, and Tanat is going to give the coordinates to Natan, and they're going to go there together, and it's going to be great. And so everybody leaves, except that Mitchell is behind everyone else, and Tanat tells Cam Mitchell to wait a minute. So Mitchell turns and says, yeah, no, I don't know who that is. I don't know what you're talking about. I just got one of those faces, basically. But Tanat says, nope, you're Cam Mitchell. You're that bounty hunter, and you double-crossed me and Jupe. So he definitely recognizes Tanat, but he doesn't actually really care all that much about it because he figures that Mitchell must be in on something really good that's going to have a ginormous payout. So he won't say anything as long as he can have half of that. Mitchell asks about Tanat's loyalty to Natan, and Tanat knows that Natan will kill him if he gets the chance or is no longer useful. So yeah, he's got no loyalty to Natan. Mitchell asks about Jupe and if he's going to need to be cut in on this, but nope, Jupe is elsewhere. And so no worry about him. Mitchell agrees to 10%, and they bargain a bit, and it will be 25% that Tanat will get just for not telling Natan who Mitchell really is. I made it.
Yeah, good job.
That scene was harder than I expected it to be.
The Tantanat stuff is wild.
Yeah. Yes, Netan versus Tenat. That was just a little bit too much for my brain at this time of day after working all day.
Did you mention at the end where Mitchell hits him in the arm and with his stabby ring.
No, because I forgot about that. And it didn't even occur to me that he had his stabby ring on that hand, so...
Mitchell then goes to see Teal'c. He tells the guards to unchain the prisoner. He's going to take the prisoner with him. So they do. Then Teal'c and Mitchell attack and beat everybody up. Teal'c takes an extra few moments to beat the shit out of somebody. I think it was Vashin, in fact, who came and was the one who was initially going to torture Teal'c /
Justifiably so.
Yeah. But I was like, Teal'c,
not
make
justifiable
up your mind.
that he was going to... Yeah, not justifiable that he was going to torture Teal'c, but justifiable that Teal'c would beat him.
Yeah, but come on, Teal'c. First you're like, oh, it's so fine, torture me, there's other things at stake, and now you're all, don't torture me, I'm mad at you. Meh.
Well, a lot of torture has happened between then and now.
I'm joking, thank you. Let me have my jokes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stomp on your joke.
It is okay. Teal'c is done. Mitchell stops him from killing anybody. He's like, we gotta go. I understand what's going on, but we gotta go. So they head out. They wander through the Hatak. He tells Teal'c, remember Tanat, that guy? He is here. And this guy found the Odyssey. Great. And Teal'c's like, did he see you? And Mitchell's like, yep, he knows who I am, but he thinks I'm scamming, so it's going to be fine. He's going to be quiet in exchange for, a percentage of nothing. So we've got to get over to Tanat's ship before they jump to hyperspace. And Teal'c asks what the actual plan is. And Mitchell's like, making it up as I go. And then the ships go to hyperspace.
They do. Sometime later, Tanat is sitting on a throne on the ship. So I guess he's got the helm for the time being. There's another alien of the same species that are called Oranian. That tells him that Natan is here to see him. Tanat is a little bit surprised by that. Why do I keep getting these scenes?
I don't know.
So Natan comes in and he knows all about Tanat's plan to deceive him. He knew that Colonel Mitchell was impersonating Keflin all along. He was never fooled. Tanat asks who the hell Colonel Mitchell is, and Natan says of SG1, I caught him and Teal'c trying to leave the ship, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Tanat is panicking at this point and says that Natan is mistaken, and he did know that Mitchell was not Keflin, but he was just trying to lure Mitchell here so that he could then turn Mitchell over to Natan. That's all he was trying to do. He didn't betray Natan. Natan says that's the dumbest thing he's ever heard, and Tanat starts begging for his life. But Natan is not going to kill him. He's not going to do anything for now, so just shut the hell up. Stop whining.
Then two ships that were in hyperspace arrive at the Odyssey. Then we're inside the Odyssey.
Yes.
The crew has taken their posts again. Marks calls to Daniel to let him know that two old motherships are there. So that's not good.
Nope.
Daniel sits down in Emerson's chair, which...
That's weird.
Yeah,
Seems
it was
a little disrespectful.
Yeah, he also, he was awkwardly trying to sit in it, which I know I've talked about before, how weirdly casual lean back they are, and I feel like Daniel's really trying to feel that, and he can't, because he's like, what is this? But anyway, yeah, it is not great. Daniel radios to Sam to let her know, or, talks over the comm. It's not a radio. He's like, we need to get into hyperdrive, maybe a little ahead of schedule. Sam asks how ahead of schedule, and Daniel's like, now would be good. We've got company. Sam asks if he can stall, and he says we're about to find out if we can. He asks Marks about their shield status, less than 30%. Marks reports the railguns are online, but they don't have any missiles, and they're being hailed. So Daniel's basically the commander right now of this ship.
Yep. Not really quite sure how or why, but he is.
Yeah.
You would think it would be maybe someone like Marks or somebody else that is higher ranking on this ship or knows the ship. But no, it's Daniel.
No. So Daniel orders on screen, and it's Natan. Dr. Jackson, he greets him, and Daniel's like, yeah, hi, how's it going? Natan's like, I was looking for Anateo, or expecting, and Daniel's like, no, yeah, he was here, but he had to go. Natan's like, your ship's in bad shape. You've got no shields, basically, and no hyperdrive. So you should probably just surrender or I'm going to kill you. And Daniel's like, sure. Yeah, okay, we surrender. And so Natan tells him to prepare to be boarded, which at that point, Daniel's like, I don't know if you're going to be able to get over here. See, our rings are damaged and our shields are down. We have no atmosphere in our 302 bays. If you want, we could try beaming you over. Then Marks reports they're powering weapons, so...
Of course.
Daniel's like, oops, okay, I've stalled as long as I can. Sam, how we doing? Sam's like, need more time. Daniel says, too late. He tells Marks to prepare to return fire, and Marks is like, for the record, I'm always prepared. I just have to press this button here. And the look, though, that Marks was giving him at that was like... I don't know if it was just like, what are you doing in Emerson's chair? Or I can't believe I'm taking orders from this ridiculous civilian, but he
I think
was
a bit
not
of both.
having it.
I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. So they're preparing for a fight.
Yeah. Over on the other bridge, Natan tells Tanat to open fire on the other Hatak that is with them. Tanat is very confused by that command. And Natan is incensed that Tanat would question his tactics. There's a ship full of traitors over there that were trying to unseat me, and you're not going to fire on them? Fire on them now. So that's what Tanat does. On the Odyssey, Marks, and also everyone else, is surprised to report that the motherships are firing on each other, so that's weird. Teal'c radios the Odyssey from one of the other ships, and Daniel is delighted to hear from him. He tells Daniel that Mitchell and he are on one of the motherships, so please beam us out of there right before they blow each other up, because now they are firing on each other. So, of course, Marks is able to, thankfully, safely get on their locator beacons, and they are not beamed into space, but safely onto the Odyssey.
Yes.
Over on Natan's ship, he comes over the comms to ask Tanat what the hell he's doing, and Tanat is very confused because Natan is there in the room with him, but now also on the video communication. So we suddenly realize that Mitchell, having punched Tanat in the arm earlier, stabbed him with his stabby ring, and so this Natan that has been talking to Tanat has actually been Mitchell the entire time.
You're doing so well.
Thank you. So Mitchell gives them a wave as he is also beamed off of this ship. And they are all very confused, the Oranians that are left behind.
Yes. And it's not going to go well for them. I don't think.
It is not, no. Yeah.
Mitchell and Teal'c have arrived on the bridge. And Mitchell asks Daniel why he's sitting in that command chair. And Daniel asks what Mitchell is wearing. And they're like, long story.
Yep.
On Tanat's attack. Tanat's attack. Oh my
That's
god.
also hard.
On Tanat's attack, they're hearing from Natan, who is calling Tanat the biggest fool in 2 galaxies. Tanat protests, but he knows it's useless. And he's like, I screwed up. Boom, boom. Kind of felt sorry for Tanat a little bit.
I didn't. I thought it was funny.
Elsewhere, Vala and Sam are continuing to work on the hyperdrive. Vala picks up a crystal. Sam tells her it's the wrong one. She can't just jam it in. However, Vala just jams it in, and things turn on.
Yay!
Sam says, how do you do that? And Vala says, I don't know, that almost never works. So they tell Daniel, try it now. And we see an external shot of the Hataks continuing to fight, while the Odyssey is able to jump away into hyperspace. And we get one last scene with Tanat, who is cursing Kim Mitchell as his ship explodes.
Yep. Later on the Odyssey, Daniel and Mitchell are back in their normal clothes, and they are walking around, talking about how Mitchell was able to fool everyone on the particular ship that he was on, Tanat's ship, into thinking that he was Natan. Nobody knew what Natan looked like exactly. So most people, it didn't matter, and the only one that did know was Tanat, who had been stabbed by the ring thingy. Mitchell knew that it was a pretty big gamble, but it was kind of really his only option, so it worked out.
Yeah.
Sam and Vala come up and join them. They want to know where Teal'c is. He's in the infirmary because he's had quite a day. As the team is kind of catching up with each other, Sam interrupts everyone to say that she just got long-range communication back online and sent a message to Earth letting them know that they're coming home. And Mitchell asks if she should maybe add that they've officially declared war on the Lucian Alliance. Sam has already done so. End of episode.
End of episode.
Did you like the episode?
It was okay. I didn't hate it. I actually didn't dislike it either. It was okay. I enjoyed most of it. I don't have a lot to say about it, though. Like, it was a little goofy. It's a non-Ori episode, which on the one hand, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. But on the other hand, I don't really like the Lucian Alliance either. And it also distracts from, like, the main threat that they're having. I'm all over the place with this. Let me think. I thought bits of it were very funny, so I always enjoy that. Super mad about Emerson.
Yeah.
But yeah, so mostly positive, but a little bit of a mixed bag. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I enjoyed a lot of it because it did have some funny parts and a lot of exciting parts. As difficult as I found it to recap at points, I was mostly following the episode pretty well, despite the fact that it was a lot of talking and not nearly enough explosions. But then, yeah, as I mentioned before, I was sad and also pissed off about Emerson, but I still liked it for the most part.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about next?
Next is Atlantis, Season 3, Episode 9, which I think means that this was actually Episode 9 of Season 10, not Episode 10 of Season 10.
Did I? Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Wow. Oops. I just straight up just skipped the number 9 when I was putting it in my notes.
Fair.
I was like, it goes from 8 to 10. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, that's how normal numbers work. So it is Season 3, Episode 9 of Atlantis. Phantoms. IMDb says a device that creates hallucinations affects the team off-world. Very non-specific.
Yes.
Over at TVDB, Shepard and Ronan are influenced by a mind-altering device created by the Wraith while on a mission to rescue a lost team. That doesn't really give us much more.
No, not really.
Interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Is that everything, I think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to Stargazing with Kathy and Mary. Our fully listener-supported program couldn't be done without you. Show your support by telling everyone you know how awesome this show is. Find us at stargazing.space. Reach us by email, stargazing@gmail.com. Find us on social media at Blue Sky. Get some merch, tinyurl/stargazing. And finally, show your financial support at patreon.com/stargazing. Thank you for traveling through the gate with us. Catch you next time on Stargazing with Kathy and Mary.
I'm Kathy.
I'm Mary.
And you've been listening to Stargazing. The end.
The end.
Odyssey's transponder signal